Welcome back to Juicy Crypto News, my baby doll pumpkins. Did you know we are collapsing? Have you seen it, friends? We are dumping. I would say, hello, darkness, my old friend. We are getting wrecked again. Isn't it true that whenever you look at the charts, you see red candles, it doesn't matter where it's from, it's all over. It really is all over, okay? But here's the thing, friends. This is how, I'm going to teach you something, okay? This is how you can learn yourself so that you can avoid getting wrecked in the next bull and bear market when we switch. Have a look at Bitcoin price right now. It's still in the 40,000 zone. So me included, I'm looking at this price. I know it's going to go lower, but I don't feel any pain. Why? Complacency. We are looking at the 4 in front of Bitcoin's price. We're not thinking about, look at all the top signals. We had 8 green weekly candles in a row, literally 8. We have had 4 green monthly candles in a row. We are around the critical point that we normally hit before we have a correction, right before the Bitcoin halvening. We're exactly where we should be. So it's fascinating to think about why we're all complacent. You know why, friends? It's the drugs going through your system. That's why no matter what I do, what I say, I can't get the crowd to raise their targets or lower their targets in any altcoin, in Bitcoin. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care even if it's a community like Hex, Pulsechain, PulseX. No matter what I say, okay? Because I know for a fact, and so do you now, friends, when there's fear, forget it. When there is thrill, optimism, belief, euphoria, and you're getting all this endorphins rushing through and you're getting a strong libido, forget changing everybody's mind as well. It's all up to the fundamentals at play and how everybody as a whole interprets it. Now, when we're looking at the Bitcoin price, I still want to put everyone's attention to the green weekly super trend. We are still green. We are still friendly, but the EMA and the super trend, they're pretty low, man. I mean, they're 33,000. So technically, I mean, if we go back down here, it's not 16%. Which is unfortunately could be like you double that move for the altcoins, maybe be like a 30% drop again. I know it's kind of cruel to think it could happen because many altcoins didn't go up. But friends, this is just how markets work, you know. If you go back and look at altcoins, for example, like Cardano, that ended up moving, it didn't matter that Cardano was down 97, 98%. When the zombie virus came and all the other dumps from Bitcoin, it didn't really matter at all. Cardano would still retrace the whole move. So Cardano pings minus 99% down, retraces up to minus 97% down. Nope, back down to minus 99%. So this is just something you have to be careful of in terms of your expectations. Now, also looking after yourself includes buying more of those bags because you know you're literally still buying the floor, but just preparing you for what might be coming ahead. Now, I also have some breaking news from Senator Elizabeth Warren, and I did put a smelly poopy on her face, right? So over here, she has introduced a bill to crack down on crypto hard, okay? Now, she's going to do all the things she's been talking about in the media, which includes she wants to break all privacy, claiming that you are a terrorist money launderer if you transact from a wallet which is not nominated to the scum regulators. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. That's what I say to you, friends. So here is her bill. No one really cares. All right, but friends, I've seen it 1,000 times and I've shown you it 1,000 times. Price moves first, then the narrative follows. Interesting. We started dumping before, friends. I made my video like 6 minutes after we started dumping. We dumped from 44K to 40K. And I said, oh, God, gee, if only you had a friend who was telling you Max Kaiser yelling that Qatar is going to buy $500 billion and all these other bullish news was actually top signals, buy the rumor, buy the news, those types of words coming out. If only you had a friend out there. And we picked it straight away. We're like, look, the price action's going down. But everybody's like, complacent, friends. Everyone's like, no one's looking for the news because we just think we're still in the la-la lands. Then we go back for the double dip, coming back down. Bitcoin comes back, dead cat bounce on its little zone here around 40K, and you get to see, okay, what's the news? All right, a bill comes out. It's so random. We just attribute these to these coming out, friends. It's like, I don't know if they time it themselves. You don't know what it is. It's unicorn, fairy dust, cosmos, God, aliens. I don't know what's going on, okay? Just something weird's going on. This is how the minds of the markets move, okay? So this is super important, okay? Now we actually have macro data. So we have the kippy, friends. The kippy. What's the kippy? Used to be in a trading office. Me and my friends, whenever new trainees would come, I would tell them wrong pronunciation of words. So they would think they're like with the elites, okay? So I said, I mean, what these kids came, I mean, if he's listening, it'd be pretty funny. He comes in, he says, oh, how do you prepare for the CPI? I said, CPI? That's what idiots here call it. That's what noobs call it. You want to be respected around here? You call it the kippy. And guess what? Started calling it the kippy. And I still remember one of the older dudes in the background going, mate, when the poor kid, when the poor kid went to lunch with his friends, okay, one of the older guys going, mate, who the F calls it the kippy? And I started laughing. I never told them, by the way. I still don't know. Okay, so the kippy is coming out in literally less than a day, friends. And I almost called it CPI. Okay, CPI, core CPI, expected 0.3%. But this is the important number, the headline. The headline's 3.1. The US Fed target, they say 2%, but that's really so they can clamp down on inflation expectations all the time. Really, they'll accept a higher twos in the bands if they want. Now, it's been falling off a cliff, okay? And then obviously, core CPI trims the most volatile stuff out of the basket. I want you to know, the numbers are all rigged. The system's rigged. So, for example, you know, if your shirt goes from $50 to $100 in 1 year, plus 100% inflation. But then, if it goes from $100 to $101, then you go, oh, now you got 1% inflation. Sweet, we solved it. No, it doesn't matter, okay? It's never gone back to $50. That's all the goods and services in the economy. That's why you just give it enough time. US Fed's going to cut rates because inflation's low, because people are anchoring to being crushed in the past before. Of course, when this number comes out, friends, you don't even need to interpret it yourself, okay? All we got to do, we got to look at the US 2-year. You type in US02Y on TradingView, and we'll be able to see how it's going to react to these. And I just want to remind you, I've already made videos on this. Hope you better watch them, friends, because I'm telling you right now, no one's going to believe this. Again, the US Fed's going to cut rates next year, okay? The yield curve's pricing it in. They're coming in for rate cuts. They're going to slow things down, and everyone's going to change the narrative again. They're going to say, no. They're not cutting because there's bad things happening. They're cutting because inflation has dropped and they've won. That's going to be a cope narrative. There will be some sort of stonk market crash. It's kind of suck if it happens when Bitcoin's back down to 33K, because we're like, oh, crap. Like, now we have to pray that if the stocks go down later on, that Bitcoin holds its level, right? So, traditionally, I want to show you this, okay? This is, screw everything else, friends. This is the most important part, okay? Traditionally, if we go back to the Bitcoin cycle, you can see where the Fed started cutting rates before, and I have the chart right here. Now, this is the previous cycle. Look when they started, friends. They held rates here. Look at this. They held rates here. Bitcoin pumps, and then they cut, okay? They start to cut. See that? And then bang. All right, isn't it fascinating, by the way? They literally, that's when they say, hey, we're holding rates. We do the move. And then they start cutting. And look what happens next, okay? Isn't it crazy to think that's what happens? But that was a zombie virus. We might not get that much of a move. You know, if you look at the zombie virus zone here of like 7K Bitcoin right here, you could say still it might have gone back and poked a low. This is still a big move, by the way. 36% drop in Bitcoin. You might like make it like 50% for altcoins. So even if we don't get, if I draw it here right now, even if we don't get a zombie virus style crypto crappo type of expectation, it is still possible that we get something that, you know, still kind of pisses us off, enough to think about everything going forward. Also want to show you this crypto macro news. Okay, this credit card stuff, it's the foreshadowing. It's showing you the cycles are repeating over and over again, okay? And what it's showing is, look at this. Credit card loan rates of default are like GFC high. Here we go, like bang. They're going like really, really, really high. And here I am even making a joke here, okay? So this means defaulting is going to start soon. People cutting spending. They're going to lose their jobs and get more pain. And the US Fed's going to cut rates, and then we'll crash all over again into a money printer response, okay? So, but just want to clarify you, this doesn't mean just do leverage, okay? Because you feel like whenever there's a lot of leverage in the system, everybody's praying for a rate cut and a rescue. Won't happen so fast. It'll be like a slow burn. And then finally at the very, very end. That's why if you're in spot and you give yourself enough time, we win. I've got to remind you friends as well, okay? In the Bitcoin halvening year, we get excited. But actually in every Bitcoin halvening year, you got to wait to the very, very end of it before things start getting exciting. Traditionally, 3 out of 3 times. I don't know if it's going to repeat again, okay? So we're going to keep front running it in our minds. We're going to think, okay, we're breaking the high. But really, it still needs a long time. Like, think about it. Like, we need month by month. You got to hammer it through. There's hope and disbelief, rinsing everyone. And there's going to be a lot of these periods where you're just going to see how people just clutch on. They're like, yes, this is finally it. And then comes back down for another rinse. And we might even get scared at one point where people just give up on the whole idea before you cycle. I want to show you this as well. This is fascinating, okay? So Cockworks, okay? Look at this news. Bitcoin and Ether are not having a strong week so far, but analysts say it's all going to work out. Complacency, okay? Complacency, friends. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So, friends, look, the bears will think you're stupid in a bear market when I say it's all going to be fine, okay? That's different. We are depressed prices when I say it's all going to be fine, okay? It's all going to plan, okay? But after such a strong thrust up and you're seeing euphoria signs, for people to say, yep, it's going to be fine, now you're a sitting duck. Now you're complacent. Now you're not looking at things like $500 billion Qatar rumors or all these other ETF rumors or anything else coming out, okay? That's why it's super important. There's context with these, okay? Do these indicators come at the bottom? Doesn't really matter, okay? It's the same as like looking, okay, if you're long and the daily RSI goes very, very expensive, which is what it did, I think, in January this year, because it just had like 11 days in a row green from a very, very low point of Bitcoin 16K. Like, you don't really care about that, okay? But a daily RSI maybe being that high after Bitcoin's gone up only to 50K, you might have a different interpretation of that. I'm not saying to use the RSI. I'm just giving you an example, okay? Here I am also pondering, I wouldn't be surprised if 44K was the top because every single person wanted to sell 48K. So that's just something I noticed, friends. Talking in Telegram, seeing on Twitter, every single person talking 48K. Now, this is where, okay, you become masters at this, friends. Look, this. When we go back to the Bitcoin cycle and the lows, I was talking about 42 to 40. See down here, I'm talking about 48K up here as the max zone. But as we get closer, interesting, now the crowd is talking about 48K. They're not talking about 60K. Okay, the crowd. Okay, there are people here and there, but so this is super important. You know, people always ask me, okay, what if the crowd adjusts their expectations when it comes to coins and their targets later on? That's something we're going to have to figure out as we get closer. Yeah, as we get closer, because you can see it right now. The crowd doesn't expect anything more than 48K for Bitcoin, and we're at 44. So you got to ask yourself, okay, who's going to buy 45, 6, 7, or 8 if everybody thinks they're going to be able to sell and they're all going to get out of their leverage longs? Okay, so this is a small test. Do you see the disconnect between the crowd's expectations is not that big, right? It's 44K to 48K. Why? It's because the huge international retail emotional money and all the funds and all those people coming in, they're not in yet. When they're in, we might see something such as, and if we go forward and we look, we might see, for example, maybe 2025 at some point. Who knows, friends? The crowd expects up here, and then we are currently down here. All right. You see that? That's what might happen. We might be up here, and everyone's like, oh, 120K, 120K. Bang, not even 100K. Right? That's just something to be on the lookout if we get there. Now, friends, I want to quickly mention to you as well. So please, once again, don't buy these. I'm just telling you, part of my portfolio is to do Launchpad IDOs for next year. I have no real super faith in them because everybody knows about Launchpads and IDOs now. I'm doing paid. Is it the best one? I don't know. I haven't looked at all of them. And there's too much KYC and all these dealings. It's really, really hard, friends. Okay, now, for paid, I think you can't be a US citizen. All right, so, and I think it's even hard with a VPN. So I'm doing paid. Why? Because I just want I want to look out into the market and participate in whatever big projects want to come in, and maybe they'll funnel it through Kyle and his team. which is what happened in 2021, and be able to participate. Okay, now 1,000 tickets, 1,000 paid is one spin of every ticket, one spin ticket of every single project coming in. So look, I don't know how much to recommend for not in financial advice, but just for me, I would not bother with anything less than 10,000 tickets. All right, that's 2,300 US right now. But here's the thing, I wouldn't touch it right now. It went up in a straight line, man. And Alex Becker shielded it. So this thing went up 27x in a straight line. Alex Becker shielded it. Maybe if you really want it, it gets back down here, right? You get to get double the amount of tickets for that price. So just be careful when it comes to these, because the good thing is about paid in these launch pads is whether it's gaming, metaverse, NFT, DeFi, social finance, a new sector, if whatever new sectors become hot, there will be companies and projects that want to participate in the mania. And so they'll want to launch projects and they'll want to go to Launchpads. They're like, hey, give us maximum views. You guys do marketing for me. It's on everybody's lips. Yeah, but maybe someone like me talking about, oh yeah, I'm doing that Launchpad or whatever. And they get to participate and get more exposure. Now, I'm telling you right now, don't believe any of these projects and these hypes. Okay, I don't believe or trust anyone. Okay, because it's just cycle one narratives, friends. You know these things. Okay, so there will be opportunity there. And it might take you away from what you believe in right now, but it doesn't really matter. That's why you're doing both. You don't have to go all in on one thing. Just very, very dangerous. Just think about people in XRP believing that payment solutions narrative will return to crypto. It didn't with anywhere near as ferocity as it had in 2017. And they all missed out. They missed out on DeFi. They missed out on gaming, NFT. They missed out on meme coin sector birth. Okay, so that's super important to think about. So I'm going to be participating in these. I've even told you if I wasn't long, what I would do. And now I'm telling you right now, even though this is high, I'm not getting out. All right, I'm not getting out. Why? It's because I'm running the tickets every single time there's a project. There are no projects yet. They're starting next month. Okay, so I don't want to be gambling and playing around with any of these. So I'm staked. Most of my coins, actually, they're staked for like another 4 years. So if you're staked, you get like a bonus multiplier in your ticket. So that's what I'm doing just to participate in these. And I'm just to let you know, this is what we've got to do, friends. You got to try get in on ground floor. And I promise you right now, not all of them are going to win. There's going to be some duds. There's going to be some outright frauds. But if you're lucky, we get to kill it. So, you know, with the meme coin sector, they launch Pepe. It goes on a natural run on DEXs. And everybody tries to launch a meme coin. Here's the thing. That's going to last forever. In 2024, there's going to be a new sector, probably of crypto, hopefully, okay? And if it happens, there's going to be projects and teams coming to try launch it. And I promise you this, whichever new sector it is, people in existing sectors, they're going to come in and they're going to want something professional. There's always something professional. What's professional means, friends? Now, DEXs is like real DeFi. Everybody just launches public open market, but not everybody wants that. They want advantages, okay? They're like, hey, I want to go to a team. I want to get more marketing and branding. They put it on their YouTube channel and their Twitter, and you have like 100,000 more eyeballs talking about it. This is what they did in 2021. Now, just to clarify, every coin went to zero, but you had pumps on the way up. That's why, friends, when it comes to old sectors, which is 2021 narratives, everyone knows they went to zero, okay? But if there's a new sector, a lot of money to be made because no one has seen it go to zero yet. That's why only the paranoid survive, friends, because in a cycle one sector, you're taking profits. Everybody's telling you this is the future of finance, and then they all go to zero anyway. The best example I can give you is every time I did like a gaming IDO launchpad, friends, you know, on my results sheets, there's like more 30 and 50x winners and 10 to 15x, but I never listed them because I got them through paid Launchpad. And it just doesn't count. You know what I mean? I don't want to tell you, like, because you can't get access to that on a public market, so I never wrote them down. Now, here's the thing. I'm looking at these games. I'm like, you know what? Your game's cute, but I mean, Bitcoin looks toppy and these people are just changing games every like 30 days. Okay, so that's just one example. And I was just taking profits along the way. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in their Telegram saying, no, this team's going to work it out. And then the inflation comes out and everything goes wrong, goes south after that in the bear market. Okay, so you can see I was the paranoid skeptical one in gaming and metaverse, right? Taking profits, whereas a lot of people are unfortunately believing in these and they're getting wrecked. Okay, so that's super important to think about. And you might think of Bitcoin being under its all-time high as your margin of safety. Because when I was doing it, Bitcoin was like 50 to 60K. Okay, it has 3x its all-time high. So if you're participating in these with me, you don't have a desperation to take profit. Maybe you even go offside. You never really know. Okay, but you're not desperate to get out because you always feel like, okay, as long as Bitcoin's under 69K, I'm always looking forward to that one big final euphoric flush coming in the future. Okay, I'm going to speak more about this strategy going forward. Make sure you like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you soon.